Hey, what's going on, family? In this video, I wanted to talk to you guys a little about red flags when it comes down to sourcing products for your retail arbitrage business. And I'm specifically talking about Amazon FBA right as at the moment. Specifically talking about red flags you should consider before buying inventory on Amazon. So that red flag is you got to look out for IP complaints. IP complaints are basically intellectual property claims whenever someone lists counterfeit items or unauthorized sale of a particular item and the company reaches out to Amazon. You don't want to receive an IP complaint because it will negatively impact your account health. So red flags to avoid those is whenever you're sourcing inventory, especially when it's like a new product or it could be potentially private label, watch out for private label products, products that have limited sales distribution. Those are the main guys that go after you whenever you have IP complaints. So red flags. Number one, always make sure you look at the other sellers on the listing. Look at your competition. And if you actually see that the brand that you're selling, so say for instance, I'm selling Reebok shoes. And, whenever I look at the listing, I see that Reebok is actually one of the sellers on that listing. That's a red flag to consider. If your competition is on the listing, that should be red flag number one. Number two, one thing to look at is how many sellers on the listing. So say you have a core item and it's only historically had one or two, sellers or 2 to 3 sellers selling that particular product or brand or whatnot. That's another red flag to consider. So most of the times when you're unauthorized to sell a product on Amazon, you're gated. Sometimes you're not gated. They will allow you to list the item, but then you'll get hit with an IP complaint once the item is live. So those are 2 red flags to consider because if the brand is actually on the listing, that could potentially be a threat to to your listing. And there's limited amount of sellers. That could mean that they have like some type of program that you have to go through in order to get approved to sell particular products. So I showed you guys a mistake I made and ways to avoid it. So I always purchase Amazon pallets. There's a lot of pallet liquidation centers here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm located. And one pallet I came across, it was like a health and beauty pallet, and it was a company called Bulletproof that reached out to me via email. So I listed an item. They were like, I forgot what type of pills they were, but it was like some type of health and beauty product. And I recently got sent this letter right here, which I'm going to read to you guys from a company called Bulletproof. And I read exactly what it says. It says, to whom it may concern, Bulletproof 360 Incorporated is the owner of Bulletproof trade names, trademarks, domain names, and which Bulletproof has used extensively for many years in connection with its well-known health and dietary and nutritional supplements, such as the Bulletproof products. It has recently come to our attention that you and your company have been offering for sale and selling Bulletproof products on Amazon.com without prior authorization for Bulletproof. Prior authorization in this context means namely an executed Bulletproof authorized seller agreement. Now, although we appreciate your enthusiasm to promote and sell Bulletproof products, we have to be diligent to ensure that the Bulletproof marks are used correctly. Our diligence includes, without limitation, making sure that Bulletproof products are only offered by third-party sellers that have been pre-approved by Bulletproof and have agreed in writing to all of the quality control and intellectual property usage guidelines, requirements, and restrictions associated with Bulletproof marks and products. If Bulletproof were to allow you to continue to sell Bulletproof products without being authorized seller, or continue to use Bulletproof marks without being bound by Bulletproof brand guidelines, Bulletproof runs the risk of its marks being weakened, tarnished, or worst case, forfeited. All things considered, we hope you understand our need to contact you to resolve this matter. Please immediately cease and desist offering for sale and selling Bulletproof products on Amazon.com. In addition, please confirm by July 13, 2022 via email to bplegal@bulletproof.com that you cease offering and sell Bulletproof products on Amazon. If we do not receive your confirmation above, we will escalate your case and take further action. Please provide an identification of the source Bulletproof products you have listed, invoices supporting the quality of the inventory, and the channels in which you are selling. Sincerely, Seller Compliance Team, Bulletproof 360 Incorporated. So yeah, I purchased a pallet and these same red flags. So that doesn't necessarily, just because you see the brand is selling that particular product, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will have one of these. But it does mean that you should consider that red flag. That's the whole reason they have the gating process on Amazon. They want to make sure that you're purchasing items from an authorized representative, or that you have some type of permission to sell these items. And they just do this to ensure that they, the Amazon, they want a better marketplace. The company, they want to protect their brand from things like infringement, price tanking, things of that nature. So that's why they do have these systems in place. Luckily, we do have ways that we can spot these trends. So the 3 apps that I use to kind of observe my red flags. So number one, the Amazon Seller app. You can always look and see, you can hit the view offers button once you scan the item, and you can see other sellers listing that particular item. Number two, I use Keeper. You can use Keeper to look at historically who's been selling that particular item, how many sellers are on that item, and things of that nature. And third, my favorite tool, Seller Amp SaaS. Seller Amp SaaS. I will leave a link in the bio for all of the different apps that I use. But Seller Amp, they have a tab on Seller Amp that it's an alerts tab, and it shows you all the different red flags you should be considerate of. And if they think it might be a private label product, or that brand or particular brand is known for issuing IP complaints, it will have that listed under the alerts tab. So I'll show you guys that, and I will also have a link below so that you can actually find these tools and use these tools for your own. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Avoid those IP complaints and other red flags. And hope you guys have a nice day. If you're not flipping, you're tripping.